Yeah, pop them. And a pleasant good evening to you and yours. And welcome to the Brevard Sports Network. Alan Slaughter-Zinski with you here tonight. And tonight we begin a docu-series, if you will. The first time we've ever done this in the history of Brevard Sports. In fact, it's the first time I've ever done this, period, in my entire media career. It's a daunting task, but a fun one, I will tell you, no doubt. And this docu-series is based on, we call it Born Again, the rise of Melbourne Central Catholic football. And we began our coverage of Melbourne Central Catholic back in May, right in week one when spring opened. Spring football opened, and, of course, the new head coach, Nate Hooks. And so we had an opportunity at that time to sit down with Nate. We're going to talk to Coach Hooks. He's live in studio here tonight with assistant coach Bobby Norton as well. But I want to tell you that this docuseries is not possible at all tonight without the kind help and support of Solutions Property Management. Located right here in Brevard County, Solutions Property Management would like to introduce themselves as a leading competitor in property management services. They have property managers that have over 16 years experience in this very specialized field. Solutions Property Management maintains a disciplined relationship with their current tenants. However, they understand that prompt service with compassion is also necessary to retain a healthy tenancy. And you know, there are a lot of products that I use that I can speak first and foremost on. Solutions Property Management is most certainly one of them. They are absolutely fantastic, and the information is on the bottom of the screen. So let's talk about MCC football for just a little bit here, because it is really, when you stop and you think about Melbourne Central Catholic football, for 11 seasons they were 86-36, averaging nearly 8 wins a year. That's 50 games over 500. However, the program has fallen on difficult times. Since Stacey Sizemore left, they are 10-29 over the past 4 seasons, and Coach Nate Hooks is the third head football coach at MCC. Now, we're not here tonight to draw up reasons why the program got to this point. If we did, the name of the show would be called The Fall and Rise of MCC Football. But it's simply titled The Rise of MCC Football because the man in charge now has a proven track record. In fact, Coach Hooks is the winningest head football coach at Holy Trinity High School. He did things for the Tigers that, quite honestly, were astonishing with the numbers that he had. So before we bring Bobby and Coach Nate on here tonight, let's take a look back at the start of that spring practice and that very first practice when Coach Hooks had an opportunity to speak with his players.
Boom, 4 o'clock. Starting right on time. There's too many guys that are missing. But that's like talking to the choir, because the ones that are here don't need to be preached to. You guys have too many of your friends that want to be a part of the program but don't want to be committed to the program. That's why going 1-9 and 2-8 doesn't bother some of the people. It has to bother you when you're invested in something. It bothers you. You got a girlfriend? Well, if you're spending money on her, taking her to McDonald's and all that kind of stuff, taking her to Christmas, she breaks up with you, it bothers you a little bit. Not because you can't get another girl. It's because you were invested in that. Time, money, dreams. That's what I'm talking about with this, man. Gotta be invested. When people invested, play harder when things bother. Now, that's what I've been saying since I got this job. Every single thing would be different. The helmets are different. The uniforms are different. The practice time is different. The coaches are different. The schemes are different. We're bringing in different players to come with this group. Every single thing is different. I don't want nothing that was tied to last season and the season before. Go! Gotta be intense. Guys, back at the top. Ready, go! Pull it. Let's go. Oh, go back. Go back. Wait, please.
I don't have any yet.
Bringing it back. Ready, go! 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 Go!
Oh! Score, there you go. Let's go.
Hey, cross speed. Hey,
Quarterback. Step aside.
Quarterback.
Hey, don't go. Keep easy.
All right, gentlemen, there you see some of the highlights. That's the very first day of practice, and on your screen right now is head coach Nate Hooks and assistant coach Bobby Norton. And Coach Hooks, let me start with you. I kind of chuckled that first day because everything that I was watching that day, I learned the first day I ever stepped on a football field. Why was it important to you to really get back to the ultimate extreme basics?
Wanted to start from the ground floor. Change the attitude. Make sure everyone knew that discipline was important. Discipline is not punishment. A lot of people confuse that. Discipline is changing behavior, changing attitude. And that's a part of our model. Mm-hmm. Everything is different. Every single thing.
You know, I think the thing that struck me was that every person, every coach, every student, athlete that was there bought in to exactly what you were trying to get across there. And by the way, I don't have a girlfriend either. But we're trying to, you know, they bought in to what the message you were trying to get across that day. And I saw student athletes out there, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I saw kids out there that looked like they had never walked on a football field in their life. But yet they were, you know, they looked like they were ready to go and run through a wall for you. Seeing and hearing that now and knowing the summer workout programs that you've come through and with camp right around the corner,
right.
Where are you now?
It's 1,000 miles ahead of where it was.
Right.
I've looked at film of those guys. They are totally different football players.
Right.
All you have to do is play fast, smart, and aggressive, and good things are going to happen.
Right. Bobby, you've seen a lot of things at MCC.
Yeah.
There's a different vibe. And Coach said it. And before I ask you this question, I think it's important to play this clip because this wasn't the first day, but it was about within the first 5 days. And this is the expectations of what it is Coach Hooks expects.
You want to build high character, you want accountability. And with those two things, you start changing boys into young men, and now the responsibility on the field takes care of itself because you can count on that running back to take his proper steps on the counter. You can count on the dude to know that when we're in cover 3, he has deep thirds. You limit the mistakes when you have high character and accountability. And that's more than the X's and O's, that is my style because I know the X's and O's. But if you can create some guys that you can believe in, it's going to work.
Now, when you hear that, you see that, this program, as I said, was 50 games, over 500, 86 wins for 10, 11 seasons. What is the buzz around? Because not everybody's going to tell the head coach. You're assistant coach. You're close with the kids. What's the buzz around campus on this, around these student athletes?
There's a lot of excitement. There's a learning curve for starters because a lot of kids at MCC are used to kind of coasting through, maybe enjoy their summer vacations a little more and their workouts a little less. So coach had to set them straight on what the vibe would be, that they had to take summer workouts seriously because that's where the work is put in during the summer, and then in the fall you see the benefits of the work that you put in. But everybody's excited for the first day of pads to go on and to get out there and play. Really, it's just a lot of excitement.
You spent last year at Cocoa, an alum, state championship ring, which you have one as well. Mine sitting right up here in front with the world to see. What'd you learn there last year that you've been coaching a long time? A lot of times they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I spent a lot of time with you last year on roofs and on sidelines. What'd you learn last year?
The thing that comes to mind immediately, is that I was doing a lot of things right, and I appreciated that.
I like that.
It's being with a guy like Coach Snyder, who's accomplished, has a program that he's been the head coach of 5 years, and been to the state championship game 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
It is.
And I was a fly on the wall, learning. It was like being at camp every single day, like a coach's convention. Just fly on the wall, learning new things, tell me what it is you want, and it's done. We had so many head coaches involved in the program. It was elite.
A lot of coaches shy away from wanting to talk about particular games, wanting to talk about, your situation. When you left Holy Trinity and the way that went down didn't sit well with you, and it didn't sit well with a lot of people that are extremely close to you. But you got them on the schedule this year, and every time I ask you this question, you smile. And and to be fair, we're talking about football here, so there are rivalries in football, and I think it's a good thing for this county that the Holy Trinity MCC rivalry is renewed. Now, obviously, you want to see both teams have outstanding caliber of players on the field, and I know that Coach Brown is building towards that at Holy Trinity. But talk a little bit about that feeling, knowing, because when I asked you this question in May, and I believe this is it right here. Let me see if this is the clip. How have you seen your first week progress?
Well, I'll tell you this. I told the team after the second day, huge opportunity, and like challenges. Everything was right. It was even the crosstown rival of the last job that I had as a head coach.
Was that intriguing to you?
Yes, extremely.
And I would assume that you are looking forward or have circled that date on the calendar.
Well, I know it's in November. It's week 8, but who's looking ahead?
All right, so that date's in November. How much you looking forward to that?
Put it like this. The rivalry is back.
Okay. That's a good thing for the county. All right, so let's move forward with, that's going to be fun. I'm thinking about that. I've already talked to Coach Phillips. It'll be a game broadcast on Brevard Sports Network, and we're excited. We're excited for both schools about that. Bobby, you've been with these kids every day, as Coach Hooks has, throughout the summer. What have you liked, and what still needs to improve as you move forward? The weight training program all summer. What do you like about what's going on, and what needs to continue to get better?
I like the kids' attitudes. They know, there's been quite a few transfers, and there's kids that played last year that have maybe had to find a new position or take a different role, and we haven't had anybody complain about that. We've had conversations with them, but everybody seems to be excited for their new role and adjusted and wanting to win, because they think it's it's more important for them to win than it is for them to play and go 1-9 and have 2 kids end up on a gurney at the end of the game. So which was happening last year. So or 2, whatever the record was. But so I think that their attitude has been really that's been really great, because it's easy for someone to come in and then for you to just, essentially take your ball and go home and say, well, I'm not going to play if I'm not going to do what I was doing last year.
Right.
And it would be easy for them to do that, but it shows what kind of kids they are, that they're accepting of it, and they're still trying to learn and get better.
There's the elephant in the room. You mentioned it earlier, transfer. So let's talk about that, because I hear everything. Okay, I talk to a lot of people in the county, and I hear everything. Obviously, the talk of the county this year has been, Alan, can you believe that Heritage got 17 players to transfer? I mean, somebody sat, or our newest addition, Anthony Knockreiner, sat right there 2 weeks ago, and he called it for what it is now in high school, a transfer portal. You can announce your intent and go. But I've heard your guys' names come up a lot as well. Alan, can you believe MCC football is getting all these players? How do you respond to those people?
It's not. I don't think it's a surprise.
Right.
That was one of the reasons I wasn't bashful about,
Right.
taking the job. There's a reason guys are attracted to certain programs. You're talking about Coco. They play for championships. Guys get scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what's going to happen at MCC? We're going to play for championships.
You said that in May.
Yes, we're pursuing them, and parents will know it. The players know it. And you make plays, you're getting scholarships. I take care of two things. Dominate in the classroom.
Right.
Make some plays. The rest is on me. And that has to be the recipe.
Just get in line and follow, right?
That's it.
Turn that thing down every show. I don't know why I forgot that time. Just get behind and follow you. But some people would say that, what's the difference between, like, I heard this, and I'm just going to put it out there because I think it's fair that you be given the opportunity to answer the question. He's not doing it the right way. He's not bringing these kids in the right way. And everybody says that. When you were at Coco, you heard that, right?
Yeah.
You hear that all the time. When you were at Holy Trinity, you heard that about Coco. Right. You heard that about you at Holy Trinity. What do you say to them?
Sour grapes.
Okay.
hey, I don't want to hear that mess.
Right.
Something's wrong with your program if people aren't attracted to it.
Gotcha.
Don't talk to me about it. And it's no one is putting a hood over a player's head and throwing them in a van and kidnapping them.
Gotcha.
Their parents and the player wants to be wherever they want to be. That is fair game in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
So there's really no such thing as recruiting when the parent wants their kid there.
Right.
And at a private school, it's a little different. It's even harder than public school. There are processes
right
that you have to go through to get into a private school.
Absolutely.
You can't just say, I'm transferring from public school to public school.
Mm-hmm.
There's paperwork, there's transcripts, there's a lot of procedures, no discipline problems. It's much harder, trust me.
And the other thing is when you start hearing outside chatter, a lot of times it means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Because if you are, say, you are 3-7 and you got student athletes leaving, nobody's talking about you.
Right.
You want attention and focus on your program. And you certainly, with some of the transfers that you got, certainly have that. I mean, a lot of people look at Tank and Day and Joseph, right? Joseph Allen, the quarterback.
And Justin.
Justin.
Yeah.
In fact, Day was extremely happy to be there. And here's a minute and a half of Day back in May. Tell us how you liking the transition here.
The transition was very easy because I went to a private school before. The football, real good, but it's going to be even better during August.
What brought you here? Why, this is a program that didn't win very many games last year. You're coming from a program that won a state championship. What was it about Melbourne Central Catholic that you wanted to be a part of?
Basically, it was just like a business move, basically. Since Coach just came over here, that's been my coach since freshman year. So, why not just follow him?
What's Nate Hooks mean to Day Farmer?
More than a coach. He really replaced my dad after he passed. So yeah, he's more than a coach.
Now, with the influx of talent that Coach Hooks has brought in, and with what this program is capable of doing and has done in the past, what are your expectations for the upcoming season?
Go to states. Go back. For me, go back to back. And for NCC, first state ring.
Through the first week of spring practice, what do you like about your team so far?
The effort, they really ain't looking at last season how it went 0-6. They come with a new attitude. So yeah, it seems like a winning program now.
If you got to pick the motto for the upcoming season, what would you say it would be?
The motto, I don't got one right now.
All right. I'm curious if he's got one now. Have you come up with one?
Is that one you can say on air?
Not one you can say on air?
him.
I got
Not
you.
dating.
It is a docu-series, maybe, well, and also a private school, too, so no, I got you.
Well, I'll tell you what, I break a lot of coaching cliches.
Okay,
I know you're not supposed to look ahead.
right,
I know that. You
Right.
take one game at a time.
right.
All of that is fine. You got a game plan. I know that we're going to do it. But I'm looking ahead at one of them.
I got you. Is it the one in November?
That's one in
I got you.
November.
Okay.
And it's time for MCC to take its rightful reign back over the rival.
The schedule is on the screen, and the thing that I like about your schedule this year is, and even Holy Trinity's as well, is that there are more Brevard County teams on them this year. You start off against LaBelle 8-18. That's your kickoff classic, I would imagine. Then it's Astronaut, Space Coast, Vieira, and Joseph Academy. It's that second half of the season that's interesting. Father Lopez, Mountain Dora Christian Academy, Holy Trinity, Cocoa Beach, and Halifax Academy. All but Halifax Academy had winning records last year. That's a tough stretch. Cocoa Beach looks to be improved this year. Holy Trinity won the district championship last year, which is, I'm sure, something that you are going. That game could be for the district championship, couldn't it?
Definitely. I hope it is.
Yeah.
I hope they do their part.
Is the schedule right? We got it right? Was Vieira right?
Yes, we play Vieira.
Yeah, Vieira 15th, right? I might have skipped over them.
Maybe
Yep.
I can't see. Okay, yes. I'm trying to follow along.
You're running a little, you're running a little behind.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all right. Yeah, Vieira's on there. That was I had to put him up in two. So that was the first and second half parts of the schedule. I want to hear from your quarterback. He was a little gun shy when I first talked to him, but he was only a weekend. So here's Joseph Allen.
Joseph Allen
Palm
from
Beach
Palm
quarterback.
Beach. Joseph, why Melbourne Central Catholic? Why did you come to MCC?
I got injured in my first season at varsity last year, and we had these new kids come in, and I wasn't really going to get any chance to compete at my school, Benjamin. So I just got a random message from Coach Hook saying that I had an arm, and he was saying
He needs a quarterback.
pretty much, yeah.
And here you are, just a freshman. What do you like so far? And I know it's the first week, but what do you like so far about what you see from your team?
I just like how organized it is, and especially like just Day-Day and Tank overall.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
tell me about what it's like to have two weapons like Tank and Day-Day.
It's crazy. It's like their routes are so crisp, and when I can throw it anywhere, and they'll get the ball.
Now, you're just a freshman. You're a big guy. I look at you. I played quarterback, so coached quarterback, so I know what the build's supposed to be. You got it. What are your goals and plans for the future as a quarterback in high school?
My plan is to just be a good leader, good teammate, and do the best I can for the team.
And all of that would define the position of quarterback. Tell me about the school. What do you like about Melbourne Central Catholic?
When I shadowed it, it's a lot bigger than my school. It's definitely, yeah, it's more spread out. All the people are really nice, teachers are nice, students are nice.
Now, I'm going to ask, I've heard that essentially what I've heard, the scuttlebutt, the whisper, is that you guys, are really have the cooperation of the staff and, the administration at MCC, John Michael Thistle, and just the things that he has done. Talk a little bit about the relationship with the hierarchy at MCC.
Was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
That the head of the school, first of all,
Yeah.
is supportive of football, supportive of me. That's I applaud that. I thank him for it quite often, totally different. And the athletic director is on point. They're giving me everything that I asked for.
Yeah.
It's when I say different, I've said this before. The helmets are different, the jerseys are different, the pants are different,
This I like.
cleats are different, the attitudes are different, the energy is different, and anybody on that schedule better pay attention because the team is totally different, and you're gonna have to deal with it. So I don't care who you are on that schedule.
Bobby, when he walked in and said, because I chuckled at first, but then I realized he was serious. And then I looked at the players on the field, and I thought, well, this could be possible. I said, what is the goal this year? And he said, win a state championship, Alan. And he just looked at, win a state championship. When you hear that, and the rest of the coaches hear that, what do you guys think?
I mean, so I didn't win any state championships when I was at MCC, but the school did. They won a guys soccer championship and two girls soccer and I think one girls basketball. And the guys soccer team, they just had their 20-year anniversary, but they were like the #1 high school soccer team in the country of all time.
Right.
So I know you can win at MCC. I know you can collect talent there. I know it's a place where kids want to go. It's appealing to parents because you can get a good education in a great environment, and you can also participate in sports and be very successful.
Tom Dooley's proven that.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
2
does it
state
his own way.
championships since 2013. To me, Tom Dooley is one of the best high school baseball coaches in the country, bar none, hands down.
Yeah.
End of story. You're not going to convince me that there are many better baseball coaches out there than MCC's Tom Dooley. Coach, I think let's talk a little bit about, because we're going to get to know your team very intimately this year, especially in the next couple of weeks as we shove cameras in your face at practice. And so let's talk a little bit about some of the guys, aside from Day and your quarterback, that these great Hustler fans can look forward to watching perform out there.
Justin, I mentioned his name a little earlier.
What's his last name?
Willard.
Okay.
Justin came in and actually won a state championship in track.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Long jump.
Yep.
So you're talking about immediately.
Sophomore.
Yes, sir. Immediately making an impact. He's, I think the last time MCC had an individual win state in track was either 98 or 93.
And he is football his love or what? Tell me about him.
Yeah, he's good at both. Well, actually, Justin's pretty elite at whatever he does. He's academically, it's ridiculous. We even have problems trying to find classes for him because he's complete with. I think he's finished his English, his high school English, and he's completed several other courses. He takes quite a few in college. He's unbelievable.
Pretty amazing. I want to get his. I'll put it up, but I'll put his picture up here in a second. But who else you got, Coach? How's Tank doing?
Tank is excellent.
Yeah.
You're talking about a rising 9th grader that already has 6 or 7 Power 5 Division I offers.
Yeah.
Coaches are drooling over him.
And he just gets like every day he comes in, he's another inch taller and benches another 5 pounds.
Right.
It's unbelievable. Who else we got, Coach?
We have Noah Ostrander.
Mm-hmm.
Huge lineman. We have Javion Cooper.
Okay.
Huge lineman. We have Harlan, Ezra. List goes on and on.
How is that offensive line? Because that was been the Achilles heel. They've MCC's had some decent quarterbacks, over the last couple of years, but the offensive line couldn't protect them. What about this year?
Well, I'll tell you what. With you mentioned quarterback, when Joseph dad contacted me and told me he had applied for MCC. Man,
An Ostrander.
started drooling.
Yeah.
Drooling. You're talking about a kid. Looked him up on Twitter. 'Cause I didn't know him.
Right.
Hadn't seen him a day in my life. And the dad contacted me. I immediately hit him up on Twitter saying, well, you can throw the ball. Can't wait till you get here. I was like, man, you're talking about Christmas, after Christmas.
What?
I could tell, he's 6'1", 194. I think he's a little heavier than that now, but I know he's 194. And with the O-line that we have, we're going to be lights out, man. You have to deal with MCC football this year. And I'm not bashful about saying it.
No, you're not. I mean, you even got, you got you'll pull that out when the time is right. But it's just, it's exciting, and I think the fans are excited. I remember covering MCC football. Listen, I couldn't. I thought about showing highlights from that 9 overtime game, but I probably got myself in a little bit of trouble had I done that. And I pulled them too, and I cut them, and I had them ready to go, and I thought the better of it. Even though it's my voice broadcasting, and it didn't come from our network. So,
Okay.
But that 9 hour or that 9 overtime game, and like Joaquin, guys there have gone on to do great things at the next level. Joaquin Collazo is doing terrific. You got the young man up at Georgia Tech, right?
He's transferred.
Where did he go?
Ole Miss.
Now he goes from the ACC to the SEC.
And starting.
That's
Zamari Walton.
Yes, so Zamari Walton
Yes.
made one of the greatest interceptions, 106 yards I've ever seen in high school football. Zamari is...
See, that's MCC football.
Yeah.
Last few years hadn't been MCC football. The faculty, the student body, the alumni, former players, everybody deserves the program to be back where it was. Its rightful place. And that's one of the rightful places is beating the head in of the rival.
God, I'll tell you what, if we learned one thing tonight, what's the date? Let me see here.
July 17th.
No, not this date. Looks like October 13th coming up. You're ready for that one, the rivalry.
Yeah.
The rivalry. Okay. I want to thank, we're not done yet. I just want to continue to thank Solutions Property Management. Again, Solutions Property Management uses the most advanced, mainstream, and state-of-the-art management software that exceeds owners' expectations. Most of all, there is one delegated and licensed property manager that is up to date with all aspects of your property. Your property manager will have customized and personalized the accounting, maintenance, and compliance of your property and your tenant. This will allow the manager to work most efficiently and have the complete knowledge of your account at all times. If you're looking for a great property management company, call Solutions Property Management. Call the family at 321-684-7793. And I can tell you what, we had air conditioning problems, called Solutions, and my air conditioner was fixed like that. So they are exactly what they say they are. They are simply the best. What happens now? I know you guys are kicking yourselves ready to go because you got it is that lull between camp and middle of July, the dog days of summer. What are you doing now?
Train.
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
Lifting weights.
But you know what? I tell the guys, everybody around the country trains.
Okay.
It's high school, college, pros. Everybody has summer workouts. Everybody runs sprints. Everybody lifts weights. What makes one team better than the other when the games start?
How have you managed the heat this year? Now, I know it's hot in Florida, but damn if it ain't been hotter than normal.
Yeah, it's been there was 1 week that they said it was the hottest in the history of the world.
Yeah.
That week.
That's
for a
crazy.
week.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
All we did was more water breaks.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Keep
I
them
mean,
pumping fluids.
Like every 5-10 minutes.
Bobby,
water break.
as you look at this team moving forward, and you know what the goal and the expectation is, where does this team need to get better to meet that goal, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's just week to week how we play. You know, I'm a big Patriots fan. I'm from New England, by the way. I'm not just a Patriots fan because they were good.
But bandwagon
had to
jumper.
let people know that. But you know, Belichick, it goes week to week. He doesn't think about, you know, like the on to Cincinnati quotes after they got after they got
No looking
smashed by
back.
Kansas City. You know, there'll be pitfalls during the season, and there'll be times that we have to learn, and there'll be times that, you know, things aren't going our way most likely. But what's important is that we learn every week and we get better the next week, and that's.
Coach, what is this team? Where, if you had to give it a grade right now, and I know I'm sure some of the guys are watching, you never want to praise them too much or down them too much, but compared to where you were that first day when you had to start every drill fundamentally from the basics to now, what kind of a grade would you give them, and where do you need what needs to get better with them?
We're to B minus.
Okay, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and pursuing an A 100 miles an hour, that's going to happen.
I like that quote. We're B minus, pursuing an A 100 miles an hour. If there were one thing everybody should know about this program this year, what would it be?
That you have to contend with it.
Yeah.
It's going to bring impression.
No doubt.
We actually have a corner that transferred from Heritage named Brian.
Wait a minute, you had somebody transfer from Heritage?
Yes,
no,
sir.
it's a joke. They had the most. Go ahead. I didn't think anybody left there this summer. Go ahead.
Excellent. We had a 7-on-7 at UCF a few weeks ago.
Yeah, how's 7-on-7's going?
Well, I tell you what, we won more games in that one day than MCC has won in the last 3 years
Combined. Wow.
We went to the semifinals, lost to the champ, 21-14.
Gotcha.
But it was impressive. Now, no more victories in losing. But yes, it is.
Yeah.
In that one, it was. Because
Wow.
the attitudes changed. Guys that were on these teams the last 2-3 years were playing lights out. Because there are guys that can play that have transferred in. And it raised the level and the attitude of guys that probably over the last few years didn't think they were pretty good, didn't think they could play. No, they were making plays. You have to now because of the expectations of the other players. Forget the coaches.
Right.
You know, it's I like that too. When we become a program where players coaching players, I call it PCP.
Gotcha.
When that happens,
Players coaching players.
yeah, then I'll be Phil Jackson just watching this thing.
Well, guys, I tell you what, an unconventional way to kind of start a documentary or docuseries, but I felt it was important to look back and now get you caught up. And now moving forward, it'll be more of a more traditional style where we might get that camera out of my face thing, which is what we're excited about. You always got to get one of those in a documentary series. Have you guys seen the new series on Netflix called The Quarterback?
Yes.
Outstanding
Excellent.
series. 3 different quarterbacks for sure. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. And make sure you check out the next episode of MCC Football, The Rise of the Hustlers. And that will be sometime right as camp gets going. And then we'll come every 3. We'll do one at the end of camp. We'll do one at the end of the 3rd week, the end of the 6th week, and at the end of the final season. And, of course, Coach, it wouldn't be complete if we didn't do one when you made the playoffs too, right?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Guys, thank you so much, and thank all of you out there. And, again, we want to thank Solutions Property Management, of course, Caleb Brown, who sets all of this up and monitors all of this here in the beautiful downtown Melbourne studio. So for Caleb Brown, for Bobby Norton, for Coach Nate Hooks, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski. Be sure to join us tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, live from Walk-Ons, where we will have 6 head football coaches tomorrow night. I would try to name them all, but I promise I'll forget one, and then I'll make him mad, and I don't want to do that. Check out the post right below this on our Facebook page. Listen, everybody, have a great night, and we'll see you next time right here on Brevard Sports Network.